You've heard me say this before. Global warming is no longer coming. Here's a quote from the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres to kick us off. And I quote, "The era of global boiling has arrived. Climate change is here. It is terrifying, and it is just the beginning." Unquote.
Crazy. That's like a. It's almost like you're reading from a science fiction novel. It's
It does sound like that, right?
yeah.
It stuck out to me. I
It's
was
like
like,
the
yeah, I'm putting that in the pod because that's a great.
yeah the president of the free colonies, Mr. I. You know what's so crazy? Yeah, and I feel so bad about this, but for some reason in my head, the head of the UN is still was it Kofi Annan? Do you
Yep.
remember that guy? He
Yeah.
used. Why is that? We'll get back to climate change. It's me. I know it's me. I have an issue. I have a
The
problem. I
last
cannot get
time
past
maybe
it.
something happened was one of the wars where
I
the
don't know. It
UN
must be
was
something where he
center
was so
stage in US
yeah,
politics,
and
and
he
that's
was
who the
just
face of it was.
yeah. That's exactly what it is. Because you're right. I just if someone had asked me who's the current UN Secretary General, I'd be like, I have no idea. I keep saying Kofi Annan, but that's insane because he's well retired. If he's still alive, I don't even know if he's
Yeah,
still alive.
no, that's fair.
But
That's fair.
but the what'd you call it? The era of global
Boiling.
boiling.
Yep.
God, what a dark sentiment. Dark sentiment. Imagine. I mean, that does not instill optimism. You cannot start a speech with the era of global boiling is upon us and have people walk away feeling refreshed, fulfilled, and saying, you know what, things may be dark, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. That's just like, no, it's dark. Yeah, there is black at the end of this tunnel, and it's just a matter of how quickly we all want to perish. It's like, do we want to perish slowly or do we want to perish quick? It's like all hold hands and sing as we fly off this cliff. But anyway, going
Yeah.
on, you go on with this.
Well, I'm going to start with heat. Here's a fun fact about heat. Heat is often labeled as the silent killer because people don't realize they're in trouble until things are progressing rapidly and it's too late. Another fun fact about heat is that it's the leading weather-related cause of mortalities in the US, outpacing death by hurricane by a factor of 8 to 1. In fact, heat is responsible for more deaths than hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, and earthquakes combined. And that's not even counting the non-fatal consequences, which are just as many. But some estimates say that about 10,000 people die each year from extreme heat. And this stat is before this summer. This summer is hot, but it's not normally this hot. I think we all know that by now, or I hope we do. This summer, there's never been anything like it. Washington, D.C. hit 110 degrees. 22 cities broke 100 degrees in one day. Phoenix has set a record with 30 consecutive days at 110. That's 43 C for our international listeners, with nighttime temperatures above 90. For those of you wondering about the previous record, that was in 1974 with 18 days, so this just crushed that. July itself has set a record as the hottest month ever recorded on the planet. The planet. 81% of the world's population was impacted by climate change related heat in July. That's 6.5 billion people. Even the ocean is boiling as a Florida buoy recorded a ridiculous 101.1 degree water temp, which was up from the day before, which was 102. For context, because Antoine always asks for context, the average hot tub is 100 to 102 degrees. This was 101.
I love that. That's good content. I always ask for things like that because you could rattle off numbers all the time. I could be like, it was 135 degrees yesterday, people. And if you've never experienced 135-degree weather, if you've never experienced either having to work or having to walk or spend an inordinate amount of time outside during a very high heat event, you have no idea what we're talking about. And a hot tub, but I think most people have at least experienced or looked at a hot tub on TV. Hot Tub Time Machine, really good movie, check it out if you haven't. And it's imagine walking in a hot tub all day long, or imagine being asked to work in a hot tub, which most people don't, right? It's a leisure activity. You're sitting down, you're drinking a couple of beers. You're not asked to do hard labor in a hot tub. Imagine being asked to do hard labor in something hotter than a hot tub. That's crazy. And even back to Phoenix, which is, I'm glad that you brought them up because I like to harp on their how they pass, how they decide to live their existence. The fact that it's 90 degrees at night, because first of all, a lot of Phoenix, what they've done is they've shifted a lot of construction work, anything that is labor intensive, to being done at night. And you're thinking, oh, okay, well, it's cooler at night. Yeah, it's 110 in the day, but it's probably like what, 60, 70 at night. It's a nice, like, easy breeze or thing. The fact that you're still being asked to work 90-degree weather, doing like road work with chisels or having to wear heavy gear, doing some sort of, as protective gear, doing some sort of work at night in 90 degrees. That's, I mean, that's still hell. That's hell. That's, I mean, that's awful. I can't imagine having to do that. That's not pleasant. So even if you're thinking, oh, they offset it because they're working at night, I'm sure there are still people who have issues dealing that, and have to, have to take breaks or have heat exhaustion. Even work, that's crazy. You could possibly have heat exhaustion working without the sun out because it's 90 degrees. That's crazy. Anyway.
I know I'll never forget this episode of Survivorman. I think his name was Les Stroud, used to be on TV. And he went, I want to say somewhere in Africa. The dude was like, he seemed like the real deal. He put himself into these environments. He did his thing, and sometimes he had to tap out. And this was one of the times he had to tap out. The idea was that his Jeep broke down, and he had to survive with what he could find in the Jeep in the surrounding area for a few days until help arrived. And because it was so hot at night and he wasn't used to it, it was like 120 during the day and like 100 at night or something. He got heat exhaustion or heat stroke, and he had to leave. His body temperature was rising. It wasn't coming down, and he had to call the producers and get out. And it was one of the few times that he had to call it quits, that he couldn't make it through because it was too extreme. And that's exactly what you're talking about here. You're just not getting relief. It's not normal. And that 101, 102, the hot tub thing, that's again the ocean. So not even talking about what it's like to work. How is marine life supposed to survive in hot tub temperature weather, or hot tub temperature water? So it's pretty nuts. And folks, make no mistake, this is all because humans burn fossil fuels. Those things that we all learned about in elementary school, that for some reason we're forgetting as adults, or choosing to dismiss it out of convenience or a reluctance to face a reality of our choices. That's what's causing all of this. I don't want anyone to forget it as we go through this.